Hello, Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro here to show you a Lightroom tutorial on the differences between vibrance and saturation. Now, both features thoroughly affect the color of your photo, but depending on what type of photo you're editing, you may want to have more vibrance than saturation. Now, 99% of the time, I choose to go heavier on the vibrance and super light on the saturation. So to really test out the effects of both of these, we should take them to their minimum and their max. So in order to do that, let's start with vibrance. No. So in order to do that, let's start with saturation. So we take saturation all the way down. It basically becomes, or it is, a black and white photo now because all the color has been taken out of the image. Now, as we move up slowly, you'll see how color starts coming back in, and you're going to see how it gets to look very bad very quickly once it passes 0. So we're getting a little bit of saturation. That looks okay. Okay, it's getting a little crazy now. Look at her face. She's starting to turn into an Oompa Loompa. Oh, geez. That's a little too much orange. We're starting to look like a Kardashian with way too much of that spray tan. And boom, we are now at 100%. As you can tell, her skin is very red, splotchy. Let's actually go in closer. And you can just tell it looks terrible. Looks terrible, at least in my eye. I mean, some of you guys might think that looks great. I will admit, the leaves look awesome. I like the orange and I like the red. That's cool. But let's tailor that down back to 0. And now let's see what happens with vibrance when we take it to its minimum and its max. Okay, we're going on down. The image is looking vintage. You can see a little bit of blue in her shirt. Her skin's basically lost all color. Some of the leaves look like, or some of the leaves are losing all their color, but there's still some color in there. It's still looking vintage, looking old, rustic. And honestly, it's not terrible. Basically, the most prevalent of colors are still showing. Her blue's still showing. There's still some color in her skin. And the red and the really bright oranges are still showing, but now they're not red nor really bright orange. Well, they're a little red. Anyway, but that's negative 100. So now let's take it to the max. We're going to go slowly, though, just to really show the evolution of the filter. So now all that color's coming back in. It's like we just put our contacts back in. And there we go. Okay, things are looking a little bit brighter, more vibrant. And her skin still looks okay. And we're at 36. Getting more of the green and yellow in the background. Still getting some color in there. Let's go just a tad bit faster. And keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Boom. So now we're at 100% here. And let's take a look. Her shirt is extremely blue. But shirts are allowed to be extremely blue. Her skin, although in my opinion slightly over colored, still looks natural at least. It doesn't look like a fake tan. And the background colors, although not as bright as it was when we loaded up on the saturation, but everything still looks realistic. Let's go back to 0 just to show you what we came from. So from that to this is a lot less damaging than this to that. Now, I like to do a little mixture. I add a couple digits to saturation, but I don't add a lot. And then I go pretty heavy on the vibrance, because vibrance is honestly, it's a lot more forgiving. I usually, on my filter for basic boost for human type people, I do 44 with 5 saturation. And that's just a general. Not every photo is going to look good under that. I still have to load up all my other presets. I just reinstalled OS X a week and a half ago on my computer, and I have not recreated a lot of my old presets. But I hope that gives you an idea to how powerful vibrance and saturation are. They're both important, but they do different things. So if you're big into using a lot of saturation, but you're wondering why your images are looking splotchy and not as desirable, then try easing back on that saturation, load up on the vibrance, and let me know how much that improves your photos. Anyway, I hope that was informational for you. This has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro. I gotta head out, and as I always do, toodles.